Hey guys, Jerry Beerman with Conduit, and today our podcast guest is a good friend of mine, Don Kennedy. Don Kennedy is the owner, operator of ProMaster Home Repair. As we embark on the Conduit 2.0, one of the things that we talk about is a legacy business, right? So building a legacy business, which is we're gonna learn from you today we're going to do a deep dive on the four different stages of business in a minute, but the culmination, the fourth stage, that we would say is like that we want to help members build a legacy business. So I know that word, I got goosebumps as I just said that.
Yeah.
I know that word resonates with you. Tell the listeners, like when you think about building a legacy business, Don, what does that mean to you? And maybe articulate it in a way that would be helpful to even, listeners that are solopreneurs that just started their business 3 months ago.
Okay, I can answer that by telling you what it's not. And I can literally give you at least a dozen stories of people that I know that have started beautiful businesses that maybe they're second or third generation. For instance, the guys that do the body work on my trucks, they're two brothers. One guy is in his early 80s and the other guy is in his late 70s. And they're still doing body work on a daily basis because they just love to work, just like their dad,
It's awesome.
who did body work into his early 90s.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. It's not a legacy business because once those two guys die, the business is done.
Yeah.
And here is this business that has faithfully served a
Yeah.
community for 50 plus years,
100%.
but because there are no systems, there's no people coming in behind it, there's
Yep.
nothing to sustain it except these two guys.
Yep.
This incredible business that served all these people in the community for so many years will no longer be. And I could tell you story after story after story of business owners that I have known, whether they're first, second, third generation business owners, that they have no one to pass the business on to because they've never really thought in terms of how do I build a legacy business? How do I construct some systems so that this is sustainable in my absence? How do I grow some people to take over the business? So it isn't about the business being big. It's about the business surviving into the next generation or continuing to thrive without you there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I always wanted to avoid. I always found this heartbreaking. I always found this like, man, why wouldn't young people want to come in to take over this business? Now, that's a whole podcast in and of itself. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the lesson to me was, it's like, I don't want that to happen. I mean, I'm not saying that this is some ego thing for me, like, oh, well, I need my legacy. I don't care, right? It's why I didn't name the company after myself. It's not about me, but you go through all this work and all these people put all this work into building a business and it's doing good things for folks in the community, right? Giving them a service that's frankly rare, a professional home repair service. There aren't a whole lot of those out there. You'd like to see it continue to do good work and benefit not only the community, but the employees that appreciate it.
So Don,
Sustainability and long-term, long-term viability.
So Don, when we come across our friends, and they say, hey, and going back to those two men that you were referring to, when they say things like, I don't, I don't care, or I don't want to build something that is, legacy based. Do you think I mean, do you think
I've never heard that though, by the way.
What's that?
I've never heard that. In all these instances, every single one of them, their answer when I would ask them, I would say, hey, Ron, Jerry, Paul, right? All these different people that I know own businesses, whether they're a photographer, a concrete guy. I mean, I could go on and on, list of people, the businesses that have closed because they were unable to build a legacy business every time I ask them. So I wish that would be the case. This breaks my heart. I don't want the business to close. And it's either I've tried and failed. I've tried to train up people, but no one ever works out, or no one seems like there's just all of these excuses. And I don't mean that those aren't real challenges, but for some reason, from their perspective, they haven't landed on whatever the magic formula was to sustain the business. So it wasn't for lack of desire. It was just lack of execution.
Yeah. Yeah, as you say that, one of the things I love to do with Conduit is to say to people, if we could take the Conduit community and you could tap into them as trusted advisors. We did this at the relaunch on June 6th, and give yourself permission to dream again. Give yourself permission to say, you know, I don't know, and this is true about me, by the way. I don't know that I, Jerry, have the skill to build what needs to be built for a legacy business, but I do believe that if I get alignment with coaching, if I get encouragement and equipping, and sometimes, people like Don rolling up their sleeves and working alongside me, man, if we take, the current membership base is about 50 owners. If we take those 50 owners and we resourced Jerry with those trusted advisors, what's the probability that Jerry could actually build a legacy business with that help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think of it this way. So here's something interesting that happened to me the other day. My son's a college baseball player, and he was in the transfer portal between his sophomore and junior year. He's now found a new school, so everything's good. But at first, he's in the transfer portal, and it's like, Dad, I, I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting offers from any universities. I'm like, son, relax. Like, when in your life have you ever been a college athlete in the transfer portal before? Well, never. So why would you expect you would know how to handle yourself in this situation? Why are you giving yourself a hard time about this? Why don't we seek counsel from people who have? Let's come up with a plan, a formula, put some structures, procedures, processing in place with daily behaviors of the things that we need to do. And the outcome will be, we'll find you a new university. Well, 16 offers later, he was able to find a new university that he signed with. So business is the same way. We often, as business owners, find ourselves in situations. Why should we know how to build a legacy business? And there are some people that have done that. They've bought and sold and built many businesses over the years, and Conduit is full of those kinds of people. We have them.
Yeah.
You can list some of their names on this podcast if you'd like. I don't want to betray their privacy, but they've done these things. And so it's, again, like we were talking about before, you need to walk in someone else's footsteps that's gone before you, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel by yourself. Because when it comes to building a legacy business, you might get one shot at that.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's good, man.